Well, howdy. You can see I'm in a house here. Yeah, but it's one of those nothing happens by chance things. I was last night. I was going to camp out in the cemetery, and I'm going to show you the map here on the screen. But I was going to camp out in the cemetery, and that was over by what's up on Third Road, Third and Avenue L. And I looked up the road and said, it's a half mile up and a half mile back. And so then, as you can see here on the map, there's some trees out there farther east on L, so I thought, oh, okay, I'll go there. And I got to the first batch of trees, and it was just too grassy, and I didn't want to deal with possible ticks. So I went down the next one, and I got up to to road number 4, and I figured, well, I better hurry up and do this and knock on somebody's door to get permission, because right after that there was no more trees and no more houses. So as I was getting ready to go up to this house and knock on their door to get permission, all of a sudden this lady came driving up, and she goes, "Hey, are you walking on the American Discovery Trail?" And I said, "Huh, what, me? Yeah." So it's one of those nothing happens by chances. It turned out to be Carolyn Kern, and she lived in the house I was going to knock on, and she was just coming home from being somewhere up here in northern Kansas. Here in northern Kansas. So I stayed at Ed and Carolyn's house last night, but I want her to show you a little bit about her house, because I felt this real interesting love thing in the house. And there's a lot of history here, because there's been 4 generations that have lived in the house, and 2 more are coming up. So meet Carolyn.
Hi.
Hello, Carolyn.
Hi.
So why don't you tell us a little bit all about the stuff in this room? It was really neat what you were telling me last night.
Okay, this is my great-grandparents' house, and no one has ever moved out. The other generation was just there, and I grew up next door in a house that my dad, Ralph Hathaway, built. And the property includes Santa Fe trail ruts, and so we're used to having visitors come to see the trail, and it's a real treat to have people come stay with us in our house. So over here on this dry sink are some toys that belong to my dad's sister, Icy Hathaway, who had a lot of nice toys for an ordinary kind of poor-ish family back in the day, because she had asthma from when she was born
And this is,
had health problems.
as you were saying, this is Icy right up here?
Yes, and my dad is the little blonde kid,
Uh-huh.
Ralph Hathaway, and Fred and Bertha Hathaway.
And this picture
his
was
parents.
taken about 1919, you said?
Yes.
All right.
And she died that year in 1919 and was 9 years old. But these are toys that she had.
Uh-huh.
And because no one ever really moved out and she didn't live long enough to break them, we have them still.
Yeah.
And there's another cupboard of dolls. It's kind of just an accumulation. I don't collect these. They just are here.
Uh-huh.
And so there's tin-headed dolls and china-headed dolls.
Huh.
And bisque dolls, and some are pretty authentic, some have been redressed.
So these are all the old historical dolls, and oh, look, there's Barbie and Ken.
Yeah, well Barbie,
Barbie.
but not Ken. But yeah, that's my Barbie from probably like 1958 or 9.
Oh, okay.
And I really didn't play for her, but boy, I sewed for her. That woman has a wardrobe you wouldn't believe.
And then over here, you were showing me some old historical stuff.
This is a collection of toys that, again, that were here. Some were my dad's, some were Icy's, some belong to my husband's family, to his parents. This thing on the top is a lunchbox, and the top of it lifts off, and the circular part is a cup, and there's a container in there where you could actually put a drink for a child, and there's a shelf inside.
And so some of these things are about how old in here?
Well, my dad carried that lunch pail, and he was born in 1914.
Okay.
And it may have been Icy's, or it may belong to his cousins who were older. On this shelf, there's some dolls and some toys in a book. And this little lamp thing was not actually a toy. It was really a vaporizer for Icy to help her with her breathing.
Yeah.
And they would light the lamp and then put like something akin to Vicks, vapor rubber or some
you said like
kind of
camphor.
yeah, a camphor in there to melt it and help her with her breathing.
Huh.
And these little glass trays were candy dishes. They were filled with little beads of sugar candy that the child could eat and then have a toy to play with. And they were separate pieces because it would have been 3 different gifts of 3 different years. And there's a cast iron little train set.
Okay. So the interesting thing, what I wanted to mention too, is that when Carolyn was first showing me this last night, it was like real interesting. I got this. I mean, I was standing here looking at it this way, and when she was telling me about Icy, it's like all of a sudden this total feeling of love seemed to just I don't know, overcome me or fill up the room or something. So I think Icy, I think you're here and you're telling us something, and I think that something is to love one another, right?
That's how I feel.
Yeah.
And I always think of her as my dad's sister, not as my aunt, because she was a little child when she died. How could she be an aunt?
She was 9, you said, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And my sister and I used to think of her as our friend. You know, we knew she wasn't there with us, and yet somehow she kind of was.
Yeah.
Because my mother died when I was very young. My sister and I spent a lot of time in this house, even though we lived next door.
Yeah.
Because we weren't in school yet at that time, and Grandma told us stories about her youth and told about Icy and our dad when he was a kid, and it's just family. So we have roots that go back here 140 years. So
140. I was going to ask the house. So the house is 140 years old, and it's been added on to a little bit. In fact, let me show you a picture of the house. So this was the original house, and then it's been added on to. You said in the
at the back.
At the back.
Left.
Okay, the back left. Okay, over there. That would be the kitchen, right?
It'd be the dining room.
The dining room.
This
Okay.
dining room.
Yeah. Okay.
But at the time, it was my grandmother's kitchen.
Uh-huh. So these people all came out here and homesteaded, so they got a quarter of a section, so it's 160 acres?
Yes.
A lot of people all came out and did that back in the late 1800s, and that's the Kansas of today. So as I've been telling you all from time to time, Kansas is the place to come if you want to see history, because it's not just one of those places to drive by and say, look at all those cornfields, and it's not one of those places you just fly over. So come and see Kansas and all the history that's out there. In fact, we're going to go look at some of the Santa Fe Trail ruts from the wagons that came across, and it's on their land right here. So thank you very much, Carolyn, and thank you very much, Ed. Ed's out in Great Bend right now doing his thing, so you don't get to meet him. All right, so as promised, we're here at the Santa Fe Trail ruts. Here's the little historical marker, but let me show you over here from the beginning. So back in the day, Carolyn's dad, his name's Ralph, and that's why you get Ralph's Ruts. They built this so that people could come through and look at it. So here's what we're looking at. Off in the distance there, that's an old silhouette recreation of a Conestoga wagon that came through. Let's get back here. There we go. So anyway, the trail came from east to west, and you might be able to see it here. There's an indentation in the land. So as a result of all the wagons coming across, it eventually wore it all down and made this little, if you want to call it a little ravine in the land. And then came across right here and across the road, and then down that way, and then right across the pasture here, and off to the west it went. So Santa Fe Trail, pretty interesting stuff. You're on history, and here, let's do this. You're going to stand, or you're going to look exactly on where these guys all came. How about that? And you were there. Oh, and by the way, that little pond out there, that was a little natural low spot in the land where the buffalo would there and wallow around. So interesting stuff. So one more thanks to Carolyn. And hello everybody, say hello and goodbye to Carolyn. All right, we're east of Lyons in Rice County, right? All right. It's a nice clear day. This is Sunday, and I'm actually surprised by the lack of traffic here. I just stayed in Lyons last night, quick stay in the motel there after staying in there with Carolyn and Ed. And thank you very much again. And yesterday after leaving their place, Carolyn took me down and showed me the ruts as I showed you, and then also we went on a little short excursion through the area, looking at the history of the place, the cemetery, looking at getting a little bit of history lesson there about everyone, and then down to let's see, where do we go? Is that Cow Creek? I forget. Father Padilla, the Father Padilla Cross, where there's actually a pilgrimage every year. So thanks again, Ed and Carolyn. And now it's on to McPherson by way of Windham. 17 miles today. I think I've already done a mile and a half, 2 miles. Not about a mile and a half, I think. And even though it's only 70 something, the humidity's pretty high, and there's not really too much of a breeze, so I think this will be a slower day. I'll make a stop in Windham, camp in the park there, and so that's the plan for today. Well, walking a short stretch of highway. This is 56. Way off in the distance there is going to be McPherson. And this first group of trees over here, that's going to be Little River. The next group of trees out there, we're talking about on the left, it's going to be Windham. Windham is the intermediate goal today, and then McPherson for tomorrow. But I got to get here on the other side of the highway here. But fortunately I got a shoulder, so I'm not walking on the asphalt. That's good. Welcome to Little River, Kansas. Little River is a little town on the way to Windham, which I think is a smaller town. And then, of course, like I said, on the way to McPherson. But I took a little detour here to get something to drink. The heat's not that bad, it's just the humidity. It's been kind of making it slow going today. So let's see what kind of little market they have here. And I think they got a little cafe as well, but it's closed today. So I'll go to a little market in Little River and see what little drink I can get. And this would be the downtown. Looks like they've got it going on here. Oh, by the way, I was wondering, how old is Little River? Established 1880. So Right down there is where I'm going to. I think there's a little market there. Got a nice brick main street here, and the co-op over there in the distance. Nice little town. Fire department. Huh. Pretty good. All right, so I'm at Garden of Eden Groceries, right? And this is?
I'm Deborah Nelson. My husband David and I own the store.
Okay.
Yep, this is our employee Caleb.
Caleb?
Yep.
And what can you tell us about Garden of Eden?
The store has been a grocery store for over 100 years. It still has the original floor.
All right, look at that.
We are a town of a little over 500, so we shouldn't even be here, but our community supports us very well. And we have fresh cut meat that David, my husband back there, does.
Right back there in the back.
So we grind our own hamburger, and we cut all of our meats fresh daily. So yeah.
And you got pizzas.
And we have pizzas, we make sandwiches, we have pulled pork, nice hot sandwiches. We do Hunt Brother pizzas.
And also, she let me take half of the cherries out of that bag and put them in there because, you know, I've been having the cherry watermelon craving, right?
There you go, and they are very good. Yep.
So whenever you get to Little River, come to Garden of Eden.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Yeah, we buy.
Have I mentioned this before? But these things always intrigue me. It's being real up close and personal to them, and This is the co-op in Little River. Spent a couple hours here eating the cherries, yeah, the sandwich, drinking the. I had some cherry hibiscus tea, that was good. A little bit of Powerade, some other fruit juice type of thing. And now, off we go to Wyndham. I think I'm going to pull in there just about at dark. It's about 6.4 miles, 6.5 miles. Tried to find a shortcut. Here it is right here. Old abandoned railroad tracks, but it's all grown over in there, so yeah, that's all right. Had fun looking. Here's a little treat. Can you hear it? That sounds yummy. This is the Little Arkansas River that eventually makes its way down to the Arkansas River. And but it sounds yummy right now. Hey, I wonder if that's a beaver dam right there. Yeah, that'd be refreshing to go in there. Yummy, yummy, yummy. You can tell I'm hot, huh? Even though it's 7 o'clock, a little after, and the sun is cool. It's just humid so that it makes it feel warmer. Another sultry morning, but at least this time I got a early start, 7:45-ish. So that's a good deal. But I got 18 miles to go to McPherson, so I'm sure there'll be a lot of stops along the way in the shade. Nice thing too, I got right over there. I was going by the school, saw some lights on, and turns out they're doing some maintenance there. So I got some water, which is good because I was down to about 2 liters. So I filled up on water. I should be okay today. And now on to McPherson. Well, these cows all came to see me here. Hi guys, how you doing? You think I'm going to be your Giving you some feed today. You got lots of grass there. You don't need anything special. You know what I mean? Yeah? Well, all right. I'm heading on off to McPherson, so if any of you wants to get out and carry my stuff, that'd be great. Any takers? Huh? No? All right. Well, see you around, guys. Hasta la vista, baby. You know, you've heard about fracking and all that. And have you ever wondered what a fracking operation looks like? Well, here's this land here is owned by I think Mid-Continent Fracking or whatever the company's name, but it's a fracking operation. And so this is these are what the these are probably the injection wells right here. So it's kind of nondescript, really. And then back there is the I guess storage tank, and then there's some other on the other side of the trees there. Looks like there's some other injection things or whatever. So this is a fracking operation. Pretty quiet, huh? Hello there. Got another economics lesson for you. I was back there having breakfast on the side of the road. This farmer pulled up, said, "Hey, you okay?" And so I told him what I was doing. But then we got into a discussion about farming and stuff. So they're dry wheat farmers here, meaning that they don't irrigate, and so they're up to the whims of Mother Nature and all that. Anyway, so I asked him, well, generally speaking, what was your crop yield this year for the wheat? And he said that he averaged about 43 bushels per acre. And if I'm not mistaken, I think on the map it shows that he owns a couple of sections of land. So that's about 1,200, 1,300 acres. So if you do the math, 43 bushels, let's just round it down to 40. And the cash price, if you remember back in Garfield, I think that's where we took the picture, cash price was $3.97 or something like that, so rounded up to 4. So he's getting about $160 per acre. And then times that by, 1,000 acres. That's quite a bit of money, but then you got to take into account all your costs and everything, he said. So it's not the greatest profit-driven business, that's for sure. But they've been doing it for 3 generations, so he and his brother are doing it right now. So he indicated that the farmers that are irrigating, they'll of course get a higher yield, most likely, but still, there's extra costs involved with that. So farming, a lot of hard work. And some years, yeah, you can make a good deal, but most years it's a pretty slim profit margin. But Kansas is a pretty nice place, that's for sure. So I'm a couple miles or so on the outskirts of McPherson, and I knocked on a house back there. It took me a couple times for them to answer the door. I knew they were there because the garage door was open, the car was there, and all that. Anyway, this lady answered the door, and she wasn't taking too kindly to my good looks. And my charm was not winning her over. But anyway, I knocked on her house, see if I could fill up a bottle with cold water. And she goes, "Oh, you have water bottles." I said, "Well, yeah, I only have one left." So she was a little hesitant, but she went in her kitchen, I guess, and came back with this nice cold bottle of water. So whoever you are, sorry I scared you. And thank you very much. So I'm in McPherson. This would be, I think, let me get my bearings. I think the northwest corner of McPherson. There's nice little houses here, these little brick houses. And then here's some with siding, of course. But pretty nice. They're well kept. Nice neighborhood. Looks like it's kind of quiet. Howdy. So I'm on the way to Dairy Queen. I need something cold to drink. Maybe root beer float. Maybe a hamburger. Okay, 2 cheeseburgers, vanilla shake, Dr. Pepper. Time to go. But first, an iced tea. That's a pretty nice place too. The trees out there. Dairy Queen. This feels kind of weird, walking through all these houses. Just like over back in, where was it, Garden City? Walking through those neighborhoods. So I'm going to stay at the Fairfield Hotel tonight, but I wanted to show you this. It's almost like being back in civilization. It's a real weird feeling. The interstate's right over there, and there's just a whole bunch of stuff here. There's a big Best Western over there and something else, and then there's a Hampton Inn, a couple other motels, and all these restaurants, fast food places. Big shopping center here, and then there's a Walmart over there. This is kind of a weird feeling. Anyway, this is McPherson. This is a pretty hip looking place. It's newer. And Fairfield Inn in McPherson. And I asked them, hey, you got a special Walking Across America rate? So they gave me a 15% discount. Good deal. Wow. Other than California, this is the first interstate I've seen since Pueblo. And compared with California and even with Pueblo, it's not that busy. It's kind of a time warp for me. So I'm out of McPherson. Actually, this is on the east edge of McPherson. And now I am heading to a little place called Galva, where I'll get something to eat, and then also grab something to go for this evening. And then tonight I'll be at Lake McPherson, fishing lake. It's hot out here, humid. All right, so I'm at a place called the Coffee Shed in Galva, right? Galva, Kansas. And I came in, and as soon as I walked in, Susan here said, "You look like you can get something cold to drink." And I said, "You know what I've been having cravings on? Watermelon." So she made me something special with watermelon, blueberry, and iced tea, and a little shot of cherry. And that was that
Way
put
to
my
go.
craving together. But Susan's going to tell you a little about her place here. Hold on a second.
Susan Weedle, and I work at the coffee shed, and we're part of Woodbury Market here, which is a bunch of different businesses of some different vendors together, and we have a quilt shop, a fabric store.
Quilt shop is right down there, and the fabric store too.
Fabric store's around the corner.
Right around the corner over there.
And then we have a masseuse,
Oh,
and she does very well with her therapeutic massages.
okay.
I've had one myself, which is wonderful. And we have the tin roof pantry, bakery. It's back here.
Back in the back.
Uh-huh.
And you also, I understand, you got something up here, right? A little.
We do. It's
balcony?
like just a little place where more people can go when we fill up down here. It's kind of an overflow area.
Okay.
And we have tables and couches up there, and there's Wi-Fi, and
It's got a lot of character, that's for sure.
yes, sir.
And tell everybody what this place used to be.
Oh, it's went from one thing to the next. This used to be the Harley Riders hangout. Like
Harley.
It was called the M&M Choppers,
Okay.
and we had some good guys running a awesome motorcycle place here.
So like motorcycle
Like
repairs?
They repaired them,
Okay.
and they worked on their motors, I think. Anyway, so yeah, that was their showroom up front there.
So
all that.
motorcycle repairs to coffee shop and fabric shop and pastry shop and masseuse and all sorts of stuff.
Yeah,
the
all
coffee
in
shed.
Galva, Kansas.
So when you come to Galva, Kansas, make sure you come to the coffee shed. It's just hop, skip, and a jump down from McPherson.
That's right, 5 miles east.
All right. So I'm here with Susan, Elwin, and Donna, and we took a little ride up here to Wildlife Refuge, and guess what? We've got some buffalo friends here.
There's a young one right here.
Yeah.
They are hot.
Beautiful. They look pretty good.
Yeah.
Go down to the water.
Yeah.
Go to the water, guys.
Okay, when you start walking.
Well, special thanks again, Elwin, Donna, and Susan. Thank you very much. I got a little lift up here to Lake McPherson. It's a little fishing lake, or it's a fair-sized fishing lake actually. But look at all this nice shade and nice grass. So I'll be camped out here tonight, and nice little breeze I can feel as well. So that's going to help. And it's really pretty, very pretty. Humid as all get out, but still very pretty. It's a real interesting weather today, weather day. It was supposed to be a heat warning today, but I don't know if it's going to make it. It's almost 9 o'clock, and the wind's really whipping. It's only about 73. It's really humid, of course, but So on the way to Durham, right up this way here, another 6.6 miles. Just right outside of Durham, and we're still following the Santa Fe Trail. Well, I believe I just now entered Durham, and I think this is the Cottonwood River, Cottonwood Creek. This reminds me of a Mills Brothers song. Can you think of the song that I'm thinking about? Up a lazy river. Up a lazy river, without a you know what.
Blue skies up above, everyone's in love. Up a lazy river,
Town of Durham, let's see what we got here. I understand the cafe got flooded out a couple weeks ago, so I just may be hanging around town to beat the heat today and Maybe I'll walk tonight 7 miles to Tampa. No, 9 miles to Tampa. Well, here's the town of Durham. Not much going on because they got flooded out beginning of last month by that river that I just crossed there. I've been sitting with these guys here at the tractor supply place, and their place got all flooded out, so they're still in business, but they're also in the process of trying to categorize and salvage what they can. But post office, I guess, is still going. There was a cafe here. I got to bring it back now. But other than that, the town's kind of, I guess, offline right now. But the nice thing too, there was a cafe here, and the Baptist church somewhere over here said they were going to help fill the gap, and I think a couple days a week they're going to serve breakfast and everything until the cafe gets back up and running. So it's a nice little town because of the people, and there's a cute little building right there. So I'm going to go head over to the co-op and see what they got going on over there. Okay, I've got something interesting here for you. I'm actually inside the Durham Co-op, the grain elevator. So you've seen the outside pictures, but let me show you how it works. Curtis showed me the whole thing, so now I'm going to see if I can mangle it here. So what happens when the trucks come in, they dump all their grains here, whether it's wheat, corn, soybeans, milo, and then it goes into a little, for lack of a better description, a bin. And then it comes to this thing right here, which is called what?
The leg.
The leg. And so what happens, the leg is just a bunch of buckets, yeah, and it hauls it all the way to the top of the elevator. And then depending upon what type of grain it is, let's go to the other side. Depending upon what type of grain it is, then they tell the leg and the stuff and all that which bin to put it in. So like we're standing right here, and this bin right here is full of soybeans, and the one that was across the way was over there full of wheat. So it's a pretty interesting operation, you know. And you thought farming was easy, didn't you? So anyway, thank you very much, Curtis, for the tour of the Durham Co-op and grain elevator.
You're welcome.
So thanks once again, Curtis, over there in the office. And now here's a pop quiz for you. Which one of these has the soybeans in it? Yes, this one right here. No, not this one. The one right behind that, right there. That's got the soybeans. The Durham Co-op. You know what's interesting about these little towns here? Besides, you know, the small businesses and how they can be affected by disasters and stuff, but what I've been thinking about a lot is these little towns. You know, they have mayors and city councils, and here, this is the community center here, and then here's the minutes of their council meeting, and here's the names of the mayor and council people and all that sort of stuff. And so a lot of times too, these people, you know, they wear a lot of hats. They wear different hats. They're not just here for a meeting and that's it. See you next week or something like that. But they do their thing and help the town out and help it keep running and all that. I guess the closest thing that I can think of, for me personally anyway, coming from a big, heavily populated area, is these towns, maybe like with this, 100 people, maybe 200 people, maybe 800, maybe 1,000 at the most. And so the closest thing that I can think of, for me anyway, is a homeowners association in a condo development. But these guys, you know, they're more than just that. So I have to kind of tip my hat to them. You know, it's a sense of community pride, I guess. And so for all you people in little towns that are mayors and council people and all that sort of stuff, thank you for being the glue that keeps everything together. So again, thanks Harry and Mike, GNR, for the hospitality. Let me rest there, cool off, put my stuff down, and say everybody and anybody, you know, these guys, they got affected by the flood as well back in July, and they're still trying to get things all cleaned up. So any prayers you can send them your way to help them out, I know they greatly appreciate it, and I know that their prayers will be with you. All right, so thanks again, guys. Okay, so I'm in the Svoboda's house. This is Mayor Tim Svoboda, the mayor of Tampa, and Houston, and Aiden, and Zoe's hiding around here somewhere, and this is Monica. And so actually Houston's going to run me up to Herrington. Thank you very much, and Tim and Houston, thanks for the conversation today. And yeah, so
yeah, good to meet you as well, Mike.
Good people. So here's what a house looks like in Tampa, Kansas. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Yeah, this is the town of Herrington. So it looks like a, I don't know, maybe an older residential area, but with homes that have been replaced over time. It's kind of nice looking. And then there's a small downtown, and I'll show you that when I get there. But it's, you know, it's like one of these larger small towns where it's just slow enough. Well, it's not too slow that it's just dead, and it's just fast enough in a way that it's not overpowering. So the town of Herrington. I'll show you downtown here. So here's, I guess, the downtown of Herrington. This is Broadway and First. Here's the library. I just went in there. It's a nice library. Got fast internet. And then down this way here is the rest of town. I think I'm going to get something to eat here. Yeah, nice little place and all that. So, oh, also that's a sponsor for the American Discovery Trail. It's called Herbal Emporium. And so, hey Ryan, hey Danny. And then I think the thrift store here, right here, has done some business with one of the ADT hikers this year. So, Herrington, Kansas. And now it's going to be on to Council Grove by way of Wilsey. I got a big lesson on everything: agriculture, cattle, old airbase, limestone cutting, cattle feedlot, you name it. I'm going to tell you all about it. And don't get bored, because it's a lot of good information. So, Gary, thanks a lot.
Thank you, Mike. Appreciate it.
All right.